These are faces amongst hundreds of others who fought for freedom but will not live to see it. Since September, the Islamic Republic of Iran saw the largest and most radical anti-regime protests in its 43-year history. It was sparked by the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in the custody of the so-called morality police. Her crime? Not wearing her hijab properly. Now, at least outwardly, life appears to have returned back to normal, and some 22,000 demonstrators who were arrested have recently been pardoned. Over the past few months, I've been speaking to some of the protesters inside of Iran, investigating different aspects of the movement. They tell me that although the public unrest has quietened down, at least on the surface, the fire is still very much burning beneath the ashes.
People can't stay on the streets forever. The movement is far from over. Things are only getting started.
Of course we can't think that a revolution is going to happen in just 3 months.
This is something that will take time, because it's also a cultural issue.
Mahmoud, Raha and Sarah. Their names have been changed to protect their identities. They're all in their 20s and are taking action in the uprising.
The protests here have changed form. People are continuing the unrest through graffitis, burning street signs, taking down CCTV cameras and planning other forms of attack.
At night, chants of death to the dictator and women, life, freedom are heard from apartment windows. And social media is flooded with other acts of protest, like this group of girls in a Tehran neighborhood, a dangerous defiance of the country's strict morality laws. Days later, in another video, they appear to be apologizing. This art installation in a Tehran university is amongst many others showing dissent.
If you were to gather all the blood that's been shed, you could fill up a big pool. And that's what we did, with red paint. In response, security came and physically attacked us.
The monitoring of the hijab has also been tightened.
We now have hijab security at the university's entrance. If we're showing too much hair, they don't allow us in. If we get a second warning, then we can get excluded from the university. But away from the security, we drop our headscarves.
All three risk torture, imprisonment, and even death for just speaking with me. But Mahmoud is adamant to share his experience.
One evening, the anti-protest police raided us. I was running away when I heard a motorbike behind me. Then he shot me.
Mahmoud avoided arrest, but was left seriously wounded. Footage given exclusively to Sky News reveals the extent of his injuries. He'd been hit by pellets from a gun.
I had around 250 pellets inside me. After 4 hours on the operating table, medics only managed to pull out around 30.
Mahmoud was told that the rest would have to remain in his body, meaning he's unable to leave the country.
I now constantly live in fear of being identified in case someone sees my scars. I cannot go through any metal detecting gates because the metal left in my body could identify me as a protester. I would be looking at anything between years of imprisonment to even execution.
And those fears aren't unfounded. There has been a series of forced confessions, hasty trials, and 4 public executions. The ruthless tactics carried out by the regime are clear. Many believe that it's the regime's brutal and deadly crackdown that has played a significant role in the unrest becoming quieter.
The people protesting now are much fewer than before, and it makes me feel like I'm alone. But this doesn't mean that the movement's over.
Students have been at the forefront of the movement, calling for freedom.
It was really bad in university. They kept calling the students on private numbers. It was the security police.
And across Iran, schools are being targeted too. Since November, hundreds of school children, mostly girls, have fallen ill as a result of a suspected gas poisoning by the regime. A statement they strongly deny. But Raha, Sarah and Mahmoud aren't deterred by these intimidation tactics.
You can't keep scaring people forever. There is only one way forward, and that's a revolution.
When we know the law protects us, instead of oppressing us, then we will have the freedom to claim our rights.
Many people are doing their part as they want to change and their life to get better. Not like what we're currently living. We can't even call this life.
Street demonstrations may have eased for now, but daring displays of public defiance remain. And as the regime desperately tries to conceal traces of their disobedience, the protesters persist. The regime must go. Sahar Zand, Sky News.